Disneyland is the best freaking place on the planet. You with me? Yeah. With me? All right. So when we go Happy Mo Mondays, we're going to all say it together, and I'm just going to pay him. I'm just going to say it a couple of times so that we can prove it. Is that good?
You sounds good.
Turn it on first, so. Okay, ready? You go.
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy Mo Monday!
He told me that they had done a spinal tap and that it came back positive, that she had meningitis. So I pick up my little boy from school, and I'm like, as a mom, you can imagine, like, now what exactly do I say to this little person who's all he has ever wanted, and truly, this little boy's envisioned what he's going to do with his little sister and what the kind of big brother he's going to be to this little sister as she's growing up. So, not wanting to ruffle any feathers amongst the other side of the family, because like his dad and I are not together anymore, but we're still pretty, you know, we have a good friendship. So I pick up my little boy, and driving up the road, I didn't really say much to him, and I went home, and I said, "Bud, I just need you to give me a few minutes, okay? I'm just going to go in the room, and I'll be out in a minute." And he kind of knew something was wrong, because he's a pretty bright little kid. And so I went in the room, and I called the Janeway helpline. And I said to them, I said, "Listen, this little girl just left here on Tuesday. I knew some of the details, that she had a rash on her face when she left, so I kind of knew the progression, because I had started Googling by this time in kind of, you know, utter panic mode while trying to keep it together. As anyone's a mom, I'm sure you can relate to being a mom and having to keep it together. So at this point, I called the Janeway, and I expressed to them, like, you know, this is what's happening. What do I do? Please tell me, what do I do? What do I do with my little boy? Like, you know, I need to know, like, I can't risk this."
I found the girl in my dreams, and she's still with me. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. She don't like me to tell this story, but when I met her, I was driving a shiny red Porsche, and I was the cock of the walk, eh? So we were going out for probably 3 or 4 months. That would have been in June 1987, and Donna finally said, "What kind of car is this anyway?" I said, "It's a Porsche 924S. She said, "Porsche? Never heard of it." I said, "Do you know how much I paid for this?" And I told her. She said, "What? They saw you coming." She said, "Back home you get something 3 times this size for that kind of money." Just goes to show. Number one, her lack of knowledge of exotic automobiles at the time. But it goes to show that the person you want to spend the rest of your life with don't give a rat's ass what you're driving.
Anyway, I was living in Vancouver, and got the call from my stepmother that my father had been diagnosed with cancer. So I rushed to Saskatchewan to help look after him and take him to radiation and chemotherapy and all that kind of stuff, and he was quite a brave man. But at this time, my father opened up to me how much I knew that he was a musician. I didn't realize how badly he wanted to be a musician, but didn't pursue it because he chose to have a family, and music back then, it was hard to be a musician and raise a family. So we went to the acreage where we had lived, but was in Saskatoon doing radiation. So the one weekend we had away, just him and I, which was a rare occasion because we were always surrounded by his wife and what have you. And we went up there, and he told me all about his childhood, which I didn't know half of the things, and how badly he wanted to be a songwriter, but never got the chance to copyright a song or do anything really professional. So I said, "Well, let's write a song." So he started to tell me some stories about his life, and we put it to song.
Time to take the garbage out. I love these apartment buildings because, you know, there's just a garbage chute at the end. All you need to do is open the door. And there's a garbage chute. You put it in and it goes down. But the room is like really tiny. It's only big enough to open the door. I can't stand in the room and open the door of the garbage chute. Impossible. Just to give you an idea of the size. And there's posters all over the wall saying, "Do not leave anything here. If it's oversized, bring it down to the garbage room on the main floor." Not everybody listens to rules, though. That morning I'm walking Get to the garbage chute, open the door, and my jaw drops. Oh my God. What was there? A deflated exercise ball. A lucky bamboo plant. And a big, ugly, white pair of... But they were big, ugly, white, and dirty, because that's what I had focused on. So anyways, at this point I'm not processing anything. I am running back to my apartment, calling my local shaman, and saying, what do I do? Am I supposed to accept them? They're big, ugly, and white, they don't fit.
And in that moment, everybody in the room was in deep fear because they thought that a mother and a baby was going to be lost that day. But for me, the most amazing experience of my life happened. And what happened was, I died in the sense that I left my body. For the first time in this life, I had experienced weightlessness. I felt what it was like to be outside the confines of my body. To be in a space of all-knowing, like a great big wide open space. To understand what wisdom truly was. And to be able to see my life, the past, the future. I saw my entire funeral. I saw my husband's sadness. I saw my family's sadness. And as I was out there traveling around in the universe, I had a huge and profound understanding that we are all connected.
There are three parts to a human being. There is a mind, and it will deteriorate. There is a body, and it will deteriorate. But there's a soul, and it will never deteriorate. And then as we were singing together, me and these 5 or 6 or 7 other residents, human beings who, yes, had Alzheimer's, but they were real, and they loved singing. I wrote on my Facebook page today that I think that the entire creation that we live in is an ocean. And the ocean is called love. And we're swimming in it. And most of us don't even realize it. Most of us are trying to gasp for breath. We haven't developed the gills to let it in. And I'm going to suggest to you, on that day, I realized that I think music is one of the gills.
Looking for the happy sounds of a comic fly.